there is a rush of the divine energy. It is the soul of Savitri, and there is also the surge from below, rising from the bottom and reaching the topmost center of a subtle body. In that sense, they met and rushed into each other. The divine flow and the aspiring soul from below, they rush into each other. And it is that which introduced the celestial change, the high change, the great change. We have seen last time how the centers, one below the other, get kind of activated with the descent of the divine power. Soham Om Ham Yam Ram Vam Lam. The sounds keep on repeating at various centers. Soham Om Ham Yam Ram Vam Lam. Keeps on repeating all the sounds. And each sound is characteristic of the quality of the center. It is not just a sound. The sound has a value, has a quality, and it represents that particular center altogether. So that is the topmost center opening to the sun. This Soham is also present in the Isha Upanishad. Sohamasmi. Sohamasmi. I am that. Soham. I am that. The Supreme. So it starts from there and then comes down with Soham Asmi. I am that, you see. Soham Om Ham Yam Ram Vam Lam. There is a letter, I will quickly read. Shivandu's letter on the Kundalini. Kundalini, coiled up eternal force. That is the definition of Kundalini. Coiled up eternal force. He says eternal force in Muladhara, at the base of the spine. There she slumbers like a python, full of all that she holds gathered in her being. There she slumbers like a python, gathering up all the energies there. When struck by the current of life, that is important, it's vital, current of life, which enters into search for her. She is not waking up herself. It is the current of life which enters into her. It is that current of life which is in search of that serpent, that python, see. Enters into search for her. She awakes and rises, flaming up the ladder of the spinal cord, forcing open center after center of the involved dynamic secrets of consciousness. So all the secrets of consciousness, they start opening out to the life force which has wakened her up. Then joins and becomes one with the spirit. So she rises up, joins and becomes one with the spirit. Thus she passes from an involution in inconscience into the superconscious of the spirit. So that is the real sense of Mahakundalini. She is rising from the inconscious and joining here at the superconscious. This mysterious evolving world on the this mysterious evolving nature of the world follows even such a course. The evolving world nature also follows in the same way the Kundalini is rising up. In other words, the rising of the Kundalini is equivalent to the sleeping nature getting awakened to her superconscious state. Now, this letter is in the context of somebody who had felt the awakening of Kundalini in him. This is a letter written by Sri Aurobindo to somebody. So it means that his Kundalini had awoken, sees him. And in response to his query, Sri Aurobindo replied this thing, you see. Now, in the case of Savitri, behind all reigned her deathless soul, behind all the seven centers, Sahasrara, Ajna, Vishuddha, Anahata, Manipura, Swadhisthana, and Muladhara, all these centers. Behind all these life centers, these are of course the pranic centers, life centers, you see. That is important, life centers. See, we were saying last time that there are 7 suns of mind, of supermind. There are 7 lotuses of life. There are 7 jewels of earth, or the physical, or the vital, or the mental. So here, this is basically the awakening of the vital force which is being described here, which is being experienced by Savitri here. Behind all reigned her sovereign, deathless soul, casting aside its veil of ignorance. Now the veil of ignorance has gone from that soul, allied to gods and cosmic beings and powers. So now there is a kind of an identity with the universal forces of cosmic beings and powers, you see. So this is, as I was telling you last time, the spiritual experience, Adhyatmic experience reached through the process of inner development, of awakening of the Kundalini. It builds the harmony of its human state. All the 7 centers, they have now kind of now fallen into their places in a harmonious working of things, you see. Surrendered into the great World Mother's hands. Only she obeyed her soul supreme behest. Only she, that is Savitri, obeyed her World Mother. Savitri obeyed only the command of the World Mother. But in the enigma of the inconscious world, because she is obeying the command, the word, or she is in the hands of the World Mother, there is really no more enigma for her. That enigma exists when you are not in her hands, in your hands, you see. In conscious world, a secret soul behind, supporting all, is master and witness of our ignorant life, amidst the person's look and nature's role. Now, it is this soul, person's look, who admits person's look and nature's role. Being and nature. Person here stands for being, Purusha and Prakriti. Their role is allowed by this secret soul. Unless that being is there, that Purusha is there within us, Prakriti cannot work. And therefore she allows both Prakriti and Purusha to work. She means the secret soul of all of us, in fact. A secret soul behind, supporting all, is master and witness. Of course, is master and witness when it is fully awakened. It is not now, it is asleep. The secret soul is master and witness when it is fully awakened. That energy has risen up, you see. Then only it is master and witness. Master and witness refers to person, being. Ignorant life refers to nature's role. But once the hidden doors are flung apart, then the veiled king steps out in nature's front. Yes, he comes forward and he is now really the master. He is not just a witness now. He is master now. See. Then the very king steps out in nature's front. A light comes down into the ignorance. His heavy, painful knot loosens its grasp. The mind becomes a mastered instrument, and life a hue and figure of the soul. So, with that awakening, with that invasion of light in the domain of ignorance, mind and life, they have got changed totally. This is the inner change. This is not the outer change yet. This is the inner change of life and mind. The mind becomes a mastered instrument and life a hue and figure of the soul. All happy grows towards knowledge and towards bliss. All happy grows towards knowledge. Towards knowledge refers to mind becoming master. Towards bliss, life and hue becoming the figure of the soul. Each one is correlated. You see, the phrases are not just at random. Knowledge is related to mind. Bliss is related to hue and figure of the soul. It is from there it comes out, you see. A divine fusion then takes nature's place. The divine Shakti, divine power, Shakti, what the Vedas or the Upanishads would say, Para Prakriti takes the charge of Apara Prakriti. The lower nature is now governed by the upper nature. Well, I will not say exactly governed, it takes charge. She takes the charge of the lower nature. It does not mean that the lower nature has changed, but she has taken charge of the lower nature. A divine fusion then takes nature's play and pushes the movements of her body and mind. Possessor of her passionate hopes and dreams, the beloved despot of our thoughts and acts, she streams into us with her unbound force. So she is the despot. She doesn't care about our reactions, about our opinions, about our responses to her. She doesn't care. She will exercise, she will exert her will, exercise her full force and impose what she wants to do on us. That is why she is a despot, beloved despot. Yet we love her. We love her torture. We love her despotism. Our thoughts and acts. She streams into us with her unbound force. It's limitless force. It has no boundaries at all anywhere. It is limitless, unbound, because it is a divine fusion. It is a divine fusion. There is no limit at all for that, you see. And it is that now starts operating here. Into mortal limbs, the immortal's rapture and power. An inner law of beauty shapes our lives. The yogi is very generous to tell us that our lives are also governed by the inner law of beauty. We are so far away, yet far away, you see. But this is the assurance. It will happen when those energies wake up, you see. An inner law of beauty shapes our lives. Now, inner law is the aesthesis of the soul. Is the aesthesis of the soul. Our aesthesis is a vital aesthesis. We like something or don't like something, it's a vital reaction. We say it's beautiful, we say this is ugly, etc., depending upon our vital responses. It is not that. The real truth which is there behind things, it is that which soul will see, and it is that which it will say it's beautiful or ugly or repulsive, and discard that thing. An inner law of beauty shapes our lives. See, although there is such a big change, although there is so much of freedom to enjoy things of the world, of the inner world, still it is a law. It is not something which is totally random. It has its own rhythm, its own movement, its own raison d'etre to do certain things this way or that way, you see. It doesn't happen randomly, so there is a certain rhythm by which things move. That is a law. Law basically means rhythm. So if you are in rhythm with the truth, then it's the truth rhythm which will shape all your actions and movements and your perceptions, your responses, beauty or whatever you want to call it. That is the real aesthesis. Now, earlier we are saying the fourth dimension in the earlier Prana Savitri, the fourth dimension he speaks of there. See, fourth dimension of aesthesis, the aesthetic fourth dimension. What is that aesthetic fourth dimension? It is not mind, it is not vital, it is not physical, it is psychic. It is that fourth dimension of aesthesis which gets opened here when the inner law of beauty is in operation. Shapes our lives. So naturally all our movements, our reactions, our responses, how you interact with other people also, it's not by vital reaction or mental ideas and prejudices or physical lethargy until that, but something spontaneously comes out from here, and it is that then all our movements and relationship with everybody goes around, you see, shapes our lives, you see. Now, inner law of beauty shapes our lives. This is something which is not contingent. Our life is shaped by the inner law. It does not mean that it depends upon how the other person is. It is not my reaction to him is not governed by his position, his standing, his understanding, his way of doing things and all that. It doesn't happen that way. It is not a contingent law. I respond spontaneously in my own way. He may be a crooked fellow, he may be an ugly fellow, he may be an enemy, he may be hostile, he may be a friend and all that kind of thing. It doesn't concern me. My reaction towards him, my opinion, my relationship with him is governed from my inner being. My inner being. It does not depend upon the other person at all, you see. That you have to be good so that I am good to you. It's not that. There is no condition at all, you see. It is spontaneous of its own, you see. That is the law of beauty, you see. Our words become the natural speech or truth. Each thought is a ripple on a sea of light. So whatever comes out, our thoughts are luminous, and in a luminous way they proceed in their action and activity, you see. Each thought is a ripple on a sea of light. Obviously, it's a thought, small thing, therefore it's a small little ripple. But it is also a ripple of joy, of happiness, of light, of brightness, you see. Then, obviously, when this happens, when that inner law of beauty is in operation, when that inner law of beauty is in operation, then sin and virtue leave the cosmic list. You see, cosmic list. There is no question of sin and virtue at all. That you are a sinner, that you are a virtuous man. No, it does not depend upon that thing. It does not depend upon those things at all, you see. It is my own spontaneous spiritual response, psychic response, which matters, which counts. It does not depend upon you at all, you see. Then sin and virtue leave the cosmic list. Now list. It is not list, a contents page or a laundry list or things like that, you see. It's not that. List stands for arena, the battleground, the field where the wrestlers fight. what we call akhada, you see, arena, you see. That is the list, you see. So naturally there is no quarrel of sin and virtue there, because the law is a different law altogether now, you see. So this list is a very, peculiar word, you see, in the English, but it is there. List means arena, where you fight, the two wrestlers come and fight, you see, in the wrestling ground, you see. That's called the list, you see. Then sin and virtue live cosmically. They struggle no more in our delivered hearts.
Arena.
Arena, oh, yes.
This is equivalent to arena.
Yes.
Battlefields.
List, yeah. Where you have got the two wrestlers coming and fighting like that, you see. The wrestling pit, basically it's a wrestling pit. They struggle no more in our delivered hearts. Obviously our hearts are delivered because of the operation of the inner law of beauty. Our acts shine with God's simple, natural good, or serve the rule of a supernal right. So it's all right and good. Or serve the rule of a supernal right. Sin and virtue. Essentially, what is sin? What is virtue? Sin is that which pulls you away from truth, from beauty, from joy, from happiness, which pushes you back, you see. Virtue is that which pushes you towards them. And there is a constant struggle in us of sin and virtue. The vital struggle is always there in us, you see. Something trying to do something, and something opposing that thing also simultaneously. Then the mind comes, then the physical responses come, the vital responses come. So that constant struggle is there. That constant struggle is described by List, you see. So basically, this is a sin and virtue is not a theological phrase. It is a spiritual phrase. Spiritual phrase. What promotes the spiritual growth is virtue. What pulls you back from the spiritual growth is sin. It is not a theological phrase. In the theological sense, there are 7 Catholic virtues. In the Catholic, 7 Catholic virtues. 4 are cardinal virtues and 3 theological virtues. Cardinal and theological. The cardinal virtues are prudence, justice, temperance, fortitude. Fortitude. Be able to stand against everything. Fortitude. You are able to withstand all these things. Prudence, you have been discerning what is good, what is bad. You see. Justice, do the right thing. You see. Temperance, you always sober, concentrate, serene. Fortitude, these are the cardinal virtues, and the theological virtues are faith, hope, love, or charity. Dhanam, you do charity, you see. These are the 3 theological virtues. And so these are the 7 virtues, and there are 7 vices also. The 7 vices are lust, gluttony, you want to keep on eating all kinds of things, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, irritation, angry, envy, pride. So these are the 7 vices. And the 7 virtues are prudence, justice, temperance, fortitude, faith, hope, charity. Against that, lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride. So these 7 are pitched against 7.
Pride is the sin.
Huh?
Pride.
Pride, pride.
It's a sin.
Yeah, pride is a very dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous thing. I am pride for anything. Of my position, of my quality, of my beauty, of my speech, of my language. It can be anything, you see. Then sin and virtue leave the cosmic list. They struggle no more in our delivered hearts. Leave the cosmic list. They struggle no more in our delivered hearts. Our acts chime with God's simple, natural good, or serve the rule of a supernal right. Now, the question which rises is in our mind is like that. The question which rises in our mind is, after the rush of the two energies, one from below, one from above, why this business of sin and virtue? See, they have merged into each other. Now, why is the poet, the yogi, talking about sin and virtue? Why they are fighting? Why the quarrel? There is no kind of immediate connection between what has happened in the case of Savitri. The divine Kundalini has rushed into her soul. She has risen up. They have become one. They have merged and become one. They have merged and become one. See. So why now sin and virtue? For what? In what context? Because all that has happened is so far the inner law of beauty. As long as you are there in that inner world, strictly speaking, there is no question of sin and virtue. There cannot be any question of sin and virtue. You are there directly in contact with the soul now, you see. But it is not all. What about mortal limbs? 127.24. 127.24. Into mortal limbs, the immortal's rapture and power. So the mortal limbs is there still. And that outer nature, that mortality which is there around, it is that which will experience, in spite of this inner law of beauty, the operation of sin and virtue. Sin and virtue. They struggle no more in our delivered hearts. Our acts chime with God's simple, natural good, or serve the rule of His supernal light. Again, here also, he is talking of good and right. These are the virtues. I have given you the list of 7 virtues and 7 vices according to the Christian ethics, Christian theology, Christian morality. In Indian psychological system, there are 6 blemishes, 6 vices. Shad Ripu, we call them Shad Ripu, 6. Yes? Malamo, Matsura, Lobo. So we have got six Shad Ripus. Lust, greed, anger, arrogance, attachment, covetousness, trying to possess everything. Covetousness, you want to possess everything like that. Grab, you see. Kama, Lobha, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsara. These are the 6 blemishes or 6 faults in our nature. Shad Ripu. Shad, 6. Shad is 6. Ripu, blemishes you can see here. And they have got corresponding planets. Each one is governed by a corresponding planet. Lust, that is Kama. Lust, Kama. Mercury. Mercury is the governor of this, you see. Mercury. Then greed, Lobha. Rahu, the planet Rahu, you see. Anger or Krodha, governed by Mars. Mars. Mangal. Mangal, Mars, you see. Anger. Then arrogance, haughtiness, arrogance. That is mother, governed by Saturn. 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 And then attachment. You are attached to all kind of things, you see. There is moha, governed by Ketu. And covetousness or matsar, jealousy, you see, covetousness, Venus. Venus is the planet for jealousy, covetousness. So we have got Mercury, Rahu, Mars, Saturn, Ketu, and Venus. For these 6 ripus in us. And then there are corresponding good qualities, good virtues against each one of them, you see. Jnana, knowledge. Bala, force, strength. Aishwarya, majesty. Virya, vigorousness of life, you see. Shakti, that is power. And Tejasa, the luster, shining splendor, you see. So we have got Jnana, Bala, Aishwarya, Virya, Shakti, and Tejas as the corresponding good qualities against Kama, Lobha, Krodha, Mada, Moha, Matsara. You see. So these, but although they look here as theological or ethical or moral principles, but actually they are the vital elements in us. There is nothing theological in that. There is nothing vital in that. There is nothing moral or ethical in that. They are part of our vital nature, and it is these which have to conquer, you see. See, even in the Gita, see on the battlefield, the huge army is standing on both the sides, Kauravas and Pandavas, and Krishna is giving a sermon to Arjuna, and in the midst of that battle, he has time enough to describe the bad qualities which are present in man. He is describing all those things. And he speaks of 6 of them. One is Shama, that is serenity. The second is Dhamma, self-restraint. You have to restrain yourself. Don't let yourself go out. Restrain. Dhamma. Shama, Dhamma, Tapasa, Shaucha, Kshanti, Arjava. These are the 6 qualities which is describing which an evolved person, being will have. Serenity, self-restraint, austerity, that is tapas, austerity, purity, shaucha, forbearance. You are able to stand all kind of impacts, good and bad in life. That is forbearance, kshanti, and arjava, uprightness. That against any situation you will hold up your values. That is uprightness, that is arjava, you see. So he says that this is what a good being, an evolved being will have on the battlefield. So here, this is basically the aspect of the vital nature in us. Basically, all these qualities, all these cosmic list, what is talking of sin and virtue, what is talking of, they belong to the vital reactions and actions also in us, constantly going on. So, in order to overcome this vital, why he is talking of vital? Because the pranic, the vital energy, this Kundalini Shakti has entered in, and now she has to express herself in the outward nature. What has happened is within. It has to express now, that Shakti has to express herself now outside. And what does the Shakti, what will the Shakti see? She will see all the sins and virtues in the vital nature of man, you see. Because they essentially belong to the vital nature, even mind cannot really govern them. You see, mind will argue this way, that way, but ultimately it is the nature within us, vital, which will say this good or that good. It will not obey even mind at all. Mind will say, don't do that. Still, vital will not necessarily obey mind, you see. In other words, mind cannot really control the vital in that sense, you see. But when the inner law starts operating, then things are different, you see. Then sin and virtue live the cosmically. They struggle no more in our delivered hearts. Our acts shine with God's simple, natural good, or serve the rule of a supernal right. All moods, unlovely, evil, and untrue, forsake the station in fierce disarray. So they abandon, they go away, they vanish. Forsake their station in fierce disarray and hide the shame in subconscious dusk. That it is there, they will go and lodge themselves in the subconscious part. Then lifts the mind a cry of victory, because they have gone now, they have been pushed into the subconscious, mind is happy, and mind raises a victory cry, triumph cry. O soul, my soul, we have created heaven. Within we have found the kingdom here of God, His fortress built in a loud, ignorant world. So mind is happy, is jubilant. Yes, all these enemies have been pushed out in subconscious, and now the soul is free. Soul can do what soul wants to do, you see. It can create heaven. Within we have found the kingdom here of God. O soul, my soul, we have created heaven. Within we have found here God. Now this is important. Within. The mind is aware of it. Yes, within. Outward nature, well, it's all right, let it be there. How does it matter? It has been pushed out, you see. We have found the kingdom here of God. But has really mind found the kingdom? Not at all. You see, it is all these blemishes, all these things, sin and virtue or whatever are there, they are hiding there in the subconscious. They will surge up any time, any moment and create havoc. They are not really found. Heaven, kingdom of heaven. Kingdom of heaven is not that cheap that you push away and then it comes out, to see. We have found the kingdom here of God, His fortress built in a loud, ignorant world. O soul, my soul, we have created heaven. Within we have found the kingdom here of God, His fortress built in a loud, ignorant world. So, mind is raising a victory cry. This reminds us of exactly a similar kind of a situation in the Yuga of Ashwapati. In the Yuga of Ashwapati. Ashwapati is about to meet the Divine Mother. The adoration to the Divine Mother. He has climbed up all the stairs and all that kind of a thing. Master, I am Master. Let us read that part. 80.3. 80. Okay, let's read from 80.1. Ashwapati, he has climbed up the entire ladder of consciousness, and he is pursuing the unknowable. Ashwapati is pursuing the unknowable, the indescribable, the ineffable. He is almost there. He would have perhaps gone and merged into it. The victory is there. And then he says, so in that condition, Ashwapati, a stillness absolute, incommunicable, makes the sheer self-discovery of the soul. That is the unknowable. Sheer self-discovery of the soul. A wall of stillness shuts it from the world. A gulf of stillness swallows up the sun and makes unreal all that mind has known. Makes all that mind has known unreal. All that the laboring senses still would live prolonging an image, the unreality. So what do the senses do? They create illusion after illusion, unreality. Self's vast spiritual silence occupies space. So there is nothing else except Atman, Atman, Atman. 80.12. Self's vast spiritual silence occupies space. Only the inconceivable is left. Only the nameless without space and time. Abolished is the burdening need of life. Thought falls from us. We cease from joy and grief. We cease from pain, from virtue and sin. See, we cease from joy and grief. The ego is dead. We are free from being and care. We are done with birth and death and work and fate. No more birth now, no more necessity of coming again and again and continuing this process. O soul, it is too early to rejoice. You have done all that thing, but finally, don't rejoice. Please quieten down. Be steady. Quieten down. O soul, it is too early to rejoice. Even attaining that state, spiritual state of the inconceivable, of the unknowable, where you are done with life and death and all that kind of thing. No, that is not the escape for you. It is too early for you to rejoice. O soul, it is too early to rejoice. Thou hast reached the boundless silence of the self. Yes, you have gone to the unknowable. Thou hast leaped into a glad divine abyss. You have gone into the divine happiness, into the abyss of happiness there, see. Okay, all right. But then what happens here? Abyss. But where hast thou thrown self's mission and self's power? You had come here with a mission. You had come with a power. What has happened to that? Yes, you have gone and lost yourself into the divine abyss. That is not the escape for you. O soul, it is too early to rejoice. Thou hast reached the boundless silence of the self. Thou hast leaped into a glad divine abyss. But where hast thou thrown self-mission and self-power? On what dead bank on the eternal's road where you have thrown away that mission, that power? While you are walking, while you are journeying, where you have discarded those things. On what dead bank on the eternal's road? One was within thee who was self and world. What hast thou done for his purpose in the stars? There is somebody in you. What have you done for him? Why is he here? He is here to do some work. Why is he here at all? What have you done for him? You have gone and lost yourself into the divine abyss. Okay, fine, great. But what have you done for this? It is not sufficient for you to just disappear like that. In Sri Aurobindo's yoga, that's the beauty of it. After reaching that thing, you had to look into what is to be done here. On what dead bank on the eternal's ray? One was within thee who was self and world. What hast thou done for his purpose in the stars? Yes, that's the whole thing. You have to do something for him. He has taken this birth for a certain purpose, and you can't forget that purpose of his. Escape brings not the victory and the crown. You can't escape away from this world. Spiritual attainment is necessary, but spiritual attainment is a means for achieving something, is not an end by itself. Something thou camest to do from the unknown, but nothing is finished and the world goes on, because only half God's cosmic work is done. Yes, you have attained that thing. That is only half of God's work. It is not half God. It is half God's, half work of God. See? Because only half God's cosmic work is done. It is the half work which has been done. You have to attain, you have to find your soul. Yes, you have to find your soul, but that is not the end of it. What for you have to find your soul? That is more important. That is more important. And in fact, he says, only the everlasting no has neared and stared into thy eyes and killed thy heart. But where is the lover's everlasting yes? That is the important thing. Yes, the lover is there, he wants to embrace this entire creation. He doesn't want to abandon it. You can't abandon that thing. Lover likes to have this creation in his embrace. This creation is his darling. He can't abandon her. See, he can't abandon her. See, that only Shivandu can see. You see, all moods unlovely, evil in nature, forsaken the stations and fierce disarray, and hide the shame in the subconscious dusk. Then lifts the mind a cry of victory. O soul, my soul, we have created heaven. Within we have found our kingdom here of God, His fortress built in a loud, ignorant world. So mind is happy, but no, sorry, Monsieur, be quiet, be patient. You have still a lot of work to do, you see. Our life is entrained between two rivers of light. We have turned space into a gulf of peace. Yes, the whole thing is now full of peace. But there are two rivers of light, one above and one below. The superconscious and down below in this creation itself. Between these two rivers, this whole creation is standing, life is standing. Mesopotamia, the two rivers, Euphrates and Tigris, you see, in Iraq. Between these two rivers, you have got the beautiful island, Baghdad. Yes, you have to bother about that. You have to take care of it. The two rivers are there, Tigris and Euphrates. You have to take care of them also. They are there. Our life is entrained between rivers of light. We have turned space into a gulf of peace and made the body a capital of bliss. A capital of bliss. Yes, body itself is the temple where the Roman god is installed. Apollo. It is he there. Just the capital is the place where it is there, you see, in Rome. What more if more must still be? Well, this is the limitation of mind. Because it is the cry of mind. Actually, what you are seeing here now is after the discovery of the soul, after the rushing of the two streams into each other, Savitri's and the divine rushing into each other, they merging into each other, bring about a change. That's not the end. That's not the end. That is the necessary step towards something else. Yes, inner things you have conquered. But what about the outer world, the physical world, the material world, the vital world, the mental world? What about that? They have remained as they are. They have not changed at all. In what way you take care of them, that is more important. So Savitri has now to look into that aspect of her being, how to tackle that thing, you see. Savitri has to. In fact, this whole thing is a kind of a preparation for us to take to the next canto. This whole thing is a preparation leading us towards the next canto, you see. What more? That is what we'll see in the next canto, Nirvana. That Savitri has to throw out all that is inconscient in her. She has to blow out, Nirvana, blow out all that is inconscient in her. Soul, all right, divine, beautiful, okay, but what about the other thing? That has to go away. She has to annul herself totally, remove all that is there within her which is inconscient, and after removing that thing, make that place open for the divine's functioning. She has to annul herself that only God be. God cannot be there in a cup which is filled up with inconscience. or half filled with inconscience. It's not that. He wants a totally empty cup. Annul thyself, that only God be. So we are kind of being taken towards that, you see, in the slow process of the evolving spirit, in the brief state between a death and birth. A first perfection stage is reached at last. Now, these are very difficult lines, but let us keep on talking. Two rivers of light. Let's go back to that phrase. Now, there is a kind of a reference in Greek mythology that Okeanos, ocean, Okeanos, whose streams bend back in a circle. His stream, ocean, his streams bend back in a circle. From him all the rivers are. Deep running Okeanos, by the side of the sealess stream of Okeanos. And of course, I told you Euphrates and Tigris, Mesopotamia. The soul of the land, in fact, that is what Iraq is. The soul of the land, or Baghdad is. Baghdad means that bestower of blessings, highly righteous, supreme. Capital, I have told you just now. The temple of Minerva, of Jupiter and Minerva, in Rome. Actually, the word capital stands from capit. Capit means head. Head. So he is the top, Jupiter, you see. See, this line is a very beautiful line poetically. What more, if more must still be done. It's a perfectly monosyllabic line. It gives the emphasis. Sorry, this won't do. You have still to go a long way. What more, if more must still be done. It's a perfect iambic meter. What more, if more must still be done. See, the beat is perfect to see. Poetically, you see how the effect comes out automatically. It's a very simple line, but poetically it's a very powerful line. Very powerful. The hammer beat is there. What more, if more still must be done. And then, of course, he talks of in the slow process of evolving spirit. In this line, you have the entire spiritual philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. In the slow process of the evolving spirit, evolving time, evolving spirit, what you want to call it, you see. Now, he is giving a purposeful adjective, slow process. The process is purposefully, deliberately slow. He is not in a rush, not in a hurry. That thing should be hurried up and then got done. It is not that the spirit should immediately evolve and the supermind come down here. No. Because what more? Yes, there is still a lot of to be done here, you see. Slow, because every small detail has to be attended. You can't say, yes, I have come here, I have gone there, I have gone. No, but what about all these small things on the way? You have to attend to each and every small detail. Your mind is there, there are 1,000 nuances of mind with their aberrations. You have got vital is there with all the distortions there, every little detail. Otherwise, anything can become a point of emergence and revolt. You have to attend to that. You can't escape that. The physical, every detail has to be attended to that. You see. Therefore, in fact, the word slow, Sri Aurobindo repeats several times in the life divine. Slow evolution. The word slow stands here for attending every detail in the process of evolution. In the brief state between death and life, state, I think it is about how many? 600 meters from one place to the other place, the measure of distance. Stadia, see from the word stadia comes from that, here, stations. In the brief state between death and birth. Now he speaks of death and birth, not of birth and death. Not of birth and death, but death and birth. It is not for the purposes of poetry that the poet is saying death and birth. See, of course, poetically, if you say in the brief state between birth and death, it's very flat. Poetic is very flat. Between birth and death is too trivial, you see. So it is not for that purpose he is saying death and birth, to avoid that flatness. There is an occult significance behind death and birth.
It means it's not on earth.
It happens behind after the birth also. This is a long preparation. It's a long preparation, long observation to take birth. You die and you don't suddenly come back here. There is a long preparation of assimilation, of recapitulating all that you have experienced, and depending upon those things, where to take birth, how to take birth, etc., what you have to do next birth, everything is planned there. And then you come down here.
But why does he say brief? It is not brief, it is extremely long.
It's long, yeah.
It's longer than our life normally.
It depends upon the person, how far he has evolved.
But when he says brief,
Yeah,
It's not
brief. Yeah, but it depends on the person who has evolved. How long? If a person is very well evolved, then
it's longer.
it could be longer, depending upon the situations and all that. Because you would like to see the proper spot to come and take birth, proper place, proper parents, proper place, everything, proper thing. It could be long, a brief state, but death and birth.
It's now this state, I mean, when the soul has come forward and he was merged, then the soul takes charge
Yeah.
after death. No?
Yes,
After
yes.
death, and he
So it
decides.
assimilates all the experiences of life. It prepares for the next birth after proper peaceful rest.
Exactly, but if the soul is not yet fully into the front, then other powers that guide the soul. But the soul doesn't.
No, there is no question of other power. It is he who decides.
Yeah, but if the soul is not.
No, it is he. The soul, it is soul's prerogative to decide.
Yeah, but the soul.
I will decide where to take birth or not. When to take birth also.
Yeah.
See,
It doesn't depend if the soul is conscious in the life.
no, soul is always conscious, but now it has assimilated all the experiences of life. It gathers, it reviews all those experiences, it kind of makes a resume of what has happened during the life, and then prepares itself for the next birth, depending upon the circumstances, the place, all those things. See, the soul knows it. Look, if you take birth, then you'll have to go to school, you'll have to you have to pass examinations, you'll have to struggle, you'll have to participate in competitions, games, all those things. It kind of works out, all those figures out, all those things, you see. And then it decides to come here. Actually, even after the birth, it is not that immediately the soul starts doing its work. It's not that. In fact, most often, first 30, 40, 50 years of life are a kind of a long preparation for the soul to begin its new true work. New true work, you see. Until then, nothing is happening practically, you see. In fact, it is in the later part of the life that the real things start coming out and gathering spiritual experiences, you see. Most of the cases. Of course, in the case of the yogis, accomplished people, it's a different matter. Any circumstance is enough for them to get going, you see. But mostly, it takes a long period of preparation, you see. You go through the school, you do all the worldly things, etc., accumulate experiences, gather circumstances, gather means, prepare yourself, foundations and all that thing, build up, and then your real work can start from that point onward. So that is the real precious thing, you see. So people who are going to contribute work, they should really wish for a longer life, because then only the work can. Longer life for work, not for enjoyment in the vital sense, obviously, you see. In that sense. Actually, on one occasion, I don't know if it is true or not, but this is what I think it's true also. Amal Kiran. In the case of Amal Kiran, you know K.D. Sidna. He said, "Mother, I had done enough now. I had done this thing, that thing. I want to go away." He was hardly 50 or so at that time. "My kid," mother said, "your life has yet to begin." See, your life has yet to begin. You see. Then only the true spiritual content will come out and express themselves in life. That is what you have to do. In the brief stage between death and birth. There is a quotation here with me from Annie Besant about this brief state between death and birth, you see. In the long interval between death and birth, she says, between death and birth, the experience gathered on earth is woven in the invisible worlds, obviously, into the fabric of the soul. The soul assimilates all that thing. When the germinal spirit comes back to earth, after that assimilation, comes back to earth, it comes with this soul clothing. Whatever it has gathered, assimilated, it is in that clothing. It comes with this soul clothing of qualities woven out of the experience in its previous life on earth. A brief, now with all that thing, yes, with all that thing, what happens is, ultimately, it is only a first perfection stage is reached at last. This is only the first stage of perfection, with all this preparation, you see. In fact, we don't know how many stages are there beyond, because you have to finally deal with the inconscience. And the inconscient too is infinite. The more you probe, the more you plunge into it, the more and more of it shows itself up. It is the Supreme Himself in that form, and therefore it has all the qualities of the Supreme in that form present there. So the more and more you plumb, the more and more it shows up, you see. The inconscient too is infinite. So the discovery of the soul, the rushing of the divine energy into you, that is, my dear friend, only the first stage which you have attained, you see. A first perfection stage is reached at last. Out of the wood and stone of our nature stuff, wood and stone out of our nature stuff, because it's talking of slow process of evolution. Slow process of evolution, therefore, wood and stone and nature stuff. A temple is shaped where the high gods could live. But finally, you have to build a temple, you have to build the capital of bliss, where Jupiter himself can come and stay. You have to build a capital of bliss, where the Jupiter himself can come and stay. A temple is shaped where the high gods could live. Even if the struggling world is left outside, one man's perfection still can save the world. So, it means that we need not do anything.
There must
we I am not that one man, so I don't know whether you are.
You don't feel that. Save the world.
Even in the struggling world is left outside. So who cares about that thing? In other words, Savitri is now marked as one man. Savitri is marked as one man. She has to attain perfection in order to save the world. In order to save the world. Savitri has been marked already here as the perfect man, as one man, you see, to save the world. In other words, Savitri, yes, you have discovered your soul. All those things have happened, but that is not going to save the world. You are finding the soul and housing the divine energy in your soul. Sorry, that is not going to save the world because that is not perfection. What about your outer nature? What about your physical nature? Your inconscient stuff, the birth in which you have taken birth, the place where you have taken the birth. One man's perfection. So this is basically directed towards Savitri. Savitri, you please get up, get ready now to do further yoga. Your yoga has not stopped with that. And when that perfection is attained, then there is a new proximity to the skies, then you go closer to heaven, go closer to God, do divine things. That sky stands for the superior quality, superconscient working here. A first betrothal of the earth to heaven. So, what are the three things will happen? One man's perfection, what will happen? It would mean a new proximity to the sky, betrothal of earth to heaven, concordat between truth and life, and with that then camp of God pitched in human time. So these are the steps which will take place, you see. After that, you see, there is a new proximity to the sky, a first betrothal engagement between earth and heaven. Yes, this is the engagement now. You are now ready to be the bride. A deep concordat and understanding. A document is prepared for the marriage of truth and life. Truth and life, which is not there now, you see. With all that, then a camp of God is pitched in human time. When that is ready, then yes, God can come establish himself here. He can work here. So naturally, if they say the objective, first betrothal is important. It has happened, but you have to go beyond that. You have to go to the perfection. And therefore, whosoever he is there, this mind is wise enough to raise a cry, "Oh soul, my soul, we have created heaven." But it's too early. It's too early. It cannot be there. This is first betrothal, after that, you see. And we have to go still a long way beyond that, you see. What more, if more still must be done. That more, here described here. What more? This is what? There is a new proximity to the sky, a first betrothal of the earth to heaven, a deep concordat between truth and life, a camp of God is pitched in human time. Well, actually, if you see, he is talking of the slow process of evolving time. What more? Slow process of evolving time. And then, ultimately, where are you led? That the temple is shaped for God to come and stay here. You have built the capital for Jupiter to come and live here. A new proximity is one. So if you see now, really speaking, this is a very swift kind of a description. In the context of slow process of evolving time, to come to this point is a very swift transition. Very swift transition. Possibly, Sri Aurobindo, the poet, might have expanded on all the details from the transition from what more to the first betrothal. You see, if you see within 2-3 sentences is moving rapidly. But had he had enough time, more time, maybe he would have perhaps expanded that thing in greater detail, how the transition is really going to take place, you see. It's possible. But by itself, this is of course complete. The suggestive hints are already there in that case. A camp of God is pitched in human time. Yes.
Our life is entrenched
Between two rivers of life.
Yes. What are these two rivers of life? Our life between two rivers of life. What are these?
Two rivers, you see, actually he says rivers of light. I have not seen them. But see, there is a description in the Vedas.
Two oceans.
Two oceans.
Yes.
The upper ocean and the lower ocean. But that is Praketam, that is luminous ocean. And the one which is down below is Salilam, dark ocean of inconscience. But behind, below the dark ocean, what is there you have?
Yes.
Again, the same little supreme. He is there, he is bearing that entire dark ocean, but below that, who is there? Another ocean, another river which is flowing there. So that is what I was talking of, the Tigris and Euphrates in the simile, you see, in a certain sense. They are side by side, but here they are in the hierarchical. The superconscient and down below the inconscious. There has to be there, the foundation. Actually, that is what Savitri had discovered. Later on, you see, Savitri has entered through the door of death into the transcendent. Down below, she fights with Yama, with death, down below, in the inconscience, down below, night. And she, through that door, enters the supernal world, the superconscious world. Normally, in all the cases, the entry to the superconscious world is above, climbing up. Nobody has gone to the superconscious through the door of death. Through the door of death. This is the uniqueness of Savitri. What people call Suryasya Dwara, the doors of the sun. By crossing the doors of the sun, supramental light, supramental doors, you enter into the transcendent. Suryasya Dwara. What Savitri has done is Mrityusya Dwara, the door of death. It is through that she is entering into the transcendent. Because it's there below that, everywhere. I mean, that's the only way I could perhaps speak of that thing. But if there is another insight, that will be wonderful. At least provisionally we will understand that way at this point. Yes.
Also, in the Mahasakti, there Shobhita is mentioning she has to pass through the portals of birth, that is death.
Yeah, no, that is a different thing. No, she has condescended to pass the doors of the birth, that is a death. No, that is a different thing. No, condescended to pass the doors of the birth, that is a death. she has taken the mortal birth to, yeah. She has agreed. Without that, there is no solution for this problem here. She must come here in the mortal form. Yes. Yeah. Pass through the portals of the birth, that is a death. Yes, it is a death. Mrityu. Yeah.
Once she gets born this way, she has to die.
So, this is what we have here.
Just another question.
Yes, surely.
Last time we mentioned Martanda,
Yes.
and you mentioned the etymology of Martanda.
And,
What was the meaning of Martanda etymologically?
well, I put it as Martya under.
Martya?
Under. Under is egg. Mortal.
Yes.
Huh.
I forgot.
As a mortal egg. Well, it's true. See, in different places it is the same image but differently put. You call it Martanda, you call in the story of Satyavan and Savitri, Satyavan, who is now there in the grip of death down below, Satyavan. You call in the story of Puranas, inconscient Vishnu, Vishnu who is sleeping in the darkness of night on his 1,000-hooded serpent. All the energies are gathered up and is lying on that serpent, Vishnu. He is, they are basically, in my opinion, the same thing, same image. Call him Martanda, Vedic rishis will call him Martanda. The Puranic people call him inconscient Vishnu, Shesha. Shesha means who is exhausted, who has nothing now left of him. He is superconscient, but when he is here, he has nothing of him now. He is void, Shesha, finished all, Shunya, zero. He is lying there on his 1,000-hooded serpent. So that all the things can happen. Unless that is there, things cannot happen. Evolution cannot take place. So in the story of Satyavan and Savitri, it is Satyavan who is the, what people call, the permanent avatar in the inconscient. She calls it permanent avatar.
You said he is the Martanda.
No, but these three are in a way equivalent. You know what I'm saying? In the Vedic description, he is Martanda. Aditi had 8 sons, and 7 she took back to heaven, and 8 she has left him below. That is Martanda. For what purpose? For the evolution to take place. Why she had taken the 7? Because it is they who will create the centers of activities. 7 sons, what we saw last time. So Aditi had a purpose also in having 8 sons and leaving 1 son behind. 8 sons building up the entire hierarchy of the centers of activity, of action, supramental sons. So I will say in the intrinsic nature of things, all these representations are the same. The story of the legend of Savitri, describes in a certain manner those things. Satyavan has taken the birth in the inconscience and he has to be pulled up, he has to be raised up through the process of evolution by the action of Savitri, you see. In the Purana, we have no knowledge how this Vishnu is going to wake up. He is a Shesha Naga, he is sitting on this, he is sleeping on the serpent. But how is he going to wake up? That nobody knows. That is not described in the Purana, you see. But we have in the story of Savitri those details. Actually, the Puranas, Shesha means who is left out, nothing is remaining out. Shesha means nothing, Shunya, zero. Exhausted completely, emptied out. That is what he is. The divine, whatever he is there, has emptied out himself fully and is there at the void, Shunya, zero. Now, on one particular occasion, Narad, he used to travel in all the worlds. So he goes to meet his inconscient Vishnu, to see what Vishnu is doing there. My Vishnu, what is he doing there? He has seen Vishnu in all the places, but what my Vishnu is doing there inconscient when he goes there. And he sees that he is having a large number of devotees there at the inconscient. The sons of Diti, the sons of Aditi, Aditi who is unbroken, Diti who is split, divided, Diti. The sons of Diti, they are worshipping him, offering him prayer, praising him, and all the inconscient energies which are there present, they are praising him all the time. So this is what Narad reports, that look, Vishnu is very happy there. There are a lot of devotees to him, and they give him arti and prasad, and all those things are happening.